Ray from Whimsical Pictures here, bringing you my monthly manga haul for the month of January 2017. I have 16 books here, so it's not that big of a haul for me. Oh, and I do have a special guest today. This is Eddie. He cries when he's alone. So, I brought him in here, so hopefully he won't cry while I'm filming. That would be great. That would be great. Yeah. Anyway, I will, as usual, start with the new stuff and finish with the used stuff. So without further ado, my Sustain the Industry stuff actually starts with a couple of Japanese volumes. Very exciting pickup for me. This is, unsurprisingly perhaps, adding to my Motohagio collection. Because I'm a beast who cannot be stopped, and Eddie really wants to lick these books, so that tells you that they are of a very high quality indeed. But these are the complete series of Po no Ichizoku, or the Po Clan by Motohagio. This was originally released in the 70s, around the same time as The Heart of Thomas. Actually, it was published the same time as The Heart of Thomas, and the popularity of this series was actually the reason that Motohagio was able to complete The Heart of Thomas, which wasn't very successful during its original run. And this was actually one of the first series to be collected into tankobon, or graphic novels. The original release was 5 volumes. This is the newer Bunko release, which is 3 volumes. And this is her vampire manga about 2 immortal vampire siblings named Edgar and Allan Poe. And considering that I love vampires and I love Motohagio, it's really criminal that it's taken me this long to get a hold of her vampire series, but I'm very excited to read it. And as you can see, these Bunko editions are super tiny. If we put it with a normal volume, you can see how small it is. But I kind of like that because it makes these easy to slip into my bag, which is kind of the idea. And maybe I can show you some art as well. But her art is stunning as always. This is her style from the 70s, of course. So very lush, very emotional, stylish, with some interesting and innovative panel usage. And yeah. So that's super exciting to add to my collection. Those are the only Japanese editions this month. So next we'll get into the English stuff. The first one is a spin-off of a series that I love, which is Rohan at the Louvre by Hirohiko Araki. This is one of the books commissioned by the Louvre to promote the museum. And this is one of, I think, 2 or 3 that were... 3 that were commissioned by the Louvre from Japanese comic artists. One of them is Jiro Taniguchi, and the other one I can't remember. But yeah, this is a story about exactly what it says on the tin. Rohan Kishibe from part 4 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure going to the Louvre to solve like a mystery. The entire comic is in full color, and it's a really beautiful book. And if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts about this book, I will link below the weekly manga wrap-up in which I talked about it, because I did talk about it at length in one of those. But overall, I recommend it to fans of the series. It'll help you if you know who Rohan is going in, though. You might get confused if you don't. The next one is from Seven Seas. I got 2... actually volume 1s from Seven Seas this month. The first one is Bloom Into You Volume 1 by Nakatani Nio. This is a new Yuri series. I will actually link the same video as the one with Rohan at the Louvre. I also have my in-depth thoughts about this in that video, so if you're interested in hearing more about it, I recommend watching that. But overall, I thought this was cute. I thought that the series had promise, but that this volume isn't quite living up to that promise just yet. So I guess we'll stay tuned for future volumes. The other one I got from Seven Seas is one that I was quite excited about. This is volume 1 of Shoujo, The Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe. And this is sort of a tranquil fairy tale, I think is what they call it. But it's definitely steeped in, like, Celtic and Gaelic folklore. Basically, there's the inside where the humans live, and the outside where beasts like this guy live. And they're not supposed to interact, but we have this little girl and this outsider who are like friends. I haven't finished the volume yet, so I can't really tell you in more detail than that. What I can show you is how beautiful these illustrations are. They look like illustrations from like some old edition of Alice in Wonderland or Grimm's Fairy Tales. They're classic, they're lush, it's gorgeous to look at, and I can't wait to get into the series more. Next, from Yen Press, I believe all the rest of my new titles are from Yen Press. And the first one is Horimiya, Volume 6, by Hiro and Daisuke Hagiwara. This is a really cute shoujo series that I recommend if you're into that sort of thing, and there's really not much else to say about it. It's pretty typical as far as this type of shoujo rom-com goes, but I've consistently found it cute and funny. And I think that the main couple is really likable, so I continue to look forward to more. Next, also from Yen, we have Lieselot and Witch's Forest, Volume 3, by Natsuki Takaya, the creator of Fruits Basket, which is my favorite manga of all time. So I've been enjoying getting some of her other releases in English. This one I haven't been enjoying as much as Twinkle Stars, her other release that we're getting. And that's because when Takaya writes like a fantasy series, I find that she runs into a lot of issues with her world building that can take me out of the story or make me feel like I don't understand what's going on as much as I should. But I am enjoying the character work, which is as excellent as it always is in her series. I love the sweet and melancholy atmosphere, and I actually really like Lieselot as a protagonist, so I am continuing to enjoy this series. The last two new titles are light novels from Yen Press's Yen Online. The first one is Baccano, the third volume, 1931, the Grand Punk Railroad Express chapter. And this is following volume 2, which was the local chapter. So this finishes up the 1931 arc by essentially going over the same events, but from different perspectives. So the first one is mostly from Jacuzzi and his gang's perspective, a little bit of Goose, and Lad Russo, the serial killer. So this one is instead from the perspectives of these characters that you see here, Isaac and Miria, the young conductor here, Chane and Shez. And basically this serves to answer a lot of the questions that were brought up in the second volume. And beyond that, I have not read this yet because I'm still in the process of finishing the second one, so gotta get my butt in gear, I guess. But I'm very excited to have this. You know, I always just get super happy every time a new volume of Baccano comes out because I never in my wildest dreams thought we would be getting these light novels over here, and I'm so happy we have them. And then also from the same author, Iago Nita, I got volume 5. My dog is itching himself. Sorry if you can hear that. I got volume 5 of Durarara, and I don't like the white. I don't know why they went with white. That's okay. It doesn't really go with the other volumes that all have like these bright colors on them. But anyway, I'm a couple volumes behind on this series, but for me, Durarara, the light novels are the way to experience this story. I stopped the anime somewhere in the third season because I was just watching it and having that frustrating feeling of being like, I can tell the source material is really good, but it's mired in this mediocre adaptation. And I just like had this overwhelming feeling that I just wanted to read the books instead. And now that we're getting them in English, I can do that, and I'm very happy. And I really enjoy Narita's writing. After Baccano, you can really see him having matured as a writer. Durarara is much more thematically complex than Baccano, which is really just a rollicking good time. So, yeah, I love both series, so I'm glad to be collecting them both. And now we're getting into just a few used volumes, all from the used bookstore here in town where I have a bunch of credit. Just 6 volumes here. And the first 2 are the ones that I said I was going to get, which are Shadow Lady Volume 2 by Masakazu Cuts, the creator of Eyes and Video Girl Eye, and Volume 3. This is an out-of-print series from Dark Horse, so as you can see it is left to right, originally published in the 90s. It's only 3 volumes long, so this completes it. I decided that because that used bookstore had all of the volumes, and I enjoyed the first volume a lot more than I thought I would, I decided to get the other 2, so I can go ahead and complete the series. It's a pretty standard, like, ecchi action comedy kind of thing that you may be used to seeing from the 90s if you've read any of those, but I thought it was fun, so yeah, I look forward to finishing it. Next we have a couple of first volumes of Viz series. The first one, the used bookstore actually has most of these volumes, except for volume 2. So I wouldn't be able to read more of it until I got volume 2, but I do have the option, if I enjoy this volume, to go get a good majority of the series there, and that is W. Juliet by Emura. This is from Viz's old Shoujo imprint, before they had Shoujo Beat. This is about this tomboy named Ito Miura, who goes to a girls' school, and she gets cast in Romeo and Juliet as Romeo. But she doesn't want to play the male role. And so, basically, this girl, this new transfer student, gets cast in the role of Juliet, and in short order, Ito learns Makoto here's secret that he is actually a boy, dressing as a girl for his own reasons. And I often hear this series talked about in terms of how it sort of plays around with and queers gender roles. And just, you know, when people are listing off some of those great classic shoujo series from the 90s and early aughts. So it seems fun, the art's really cute, and I'm excited to read it. The next one is Volume 1 of Crimson Hero. This is a volleyball sports manga about the girls' team. It is a shoujo series, as you can see. And I remember reading random chapters of this in Shoujo Beats magazine back when they had that, but I never really caught them in order, and I never really got a feel for the story that well. So I'm definitely glad to have found Volume 1 so that I can see if it's something that I'm interested in pursuing, because obviously there's a big sports manga craze right now, and I'm really interested in reading more sports manga that are about girls' teams. And finally, we just have 2 volumes that are helping to fill in a hole in my collection, and those are Volume 1 and Volume 7 of Fushigi Yugi Genbu Kaiden by Yu Watase. And I've said before, but I personally enjoy this prequel series more than I enjoy the original Fushigi Yugi, and so I've just been trying to collect the volumes whenever I find them cheaply. I think I have about 5 left to collect, and then I'll have the whole series, but yeah, that's that. So, see if I can get everything all together here. These are my manga pickups for the month of January. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next month. Happy reading, guys!